the Trump's NSS, National Security Strategy, which it says something, it's so amazing that you can compare it to what it was during the Biden administration. One of the core issues was NATO, how NATO is getting, stronger. And right now, you see some sort of shift in the way that the Trump administration sees the conflict in Ukraine and consequently the situation with NATO. What is your understanding of the policies of the new administration, the Trump administration? It's not quite new, but
Well,
about
this
the national security strategy.
I'll put this in terms of human relationships. Um, this is like a couple that have been together for, oh man, they've been hanging out for 70, 80 years, and one partner has just submitted a letter to the other partner basically saying, "I think we should start seeing other people." And so you got the red letter saying basically, we're going to get divorced. Now, are they actually going to stop sleeping together? Are they actually going to stop seeing each other? Or are they actually going to get divorced? So, what we have with the national security strategy is the United States doing, I'd call it a 180 in terms of how they address both Russia and China as threats compared to previous editions of national security strategies, both the one that Biden put out and then in 2023, 2022, and the one that Trump put out in his first administration. Boy, Europeans are having a meltdown. We thought we were friends forever. We thought we were your number one. And again, I put the emphasis on this is what they've written it down. But it's one thing to write it down, one thing to say it. What are we going to do? It appears that the Trump administration is genuine with respect to the war in Ukraine. If you watch just in the last couple of days, you've had comments both by J.D. Vance and then comments by Don Trump Jr. Boy, he was lighting Zelensky up like a Christmas tree, like the Christmas tree lighting they do in New York City, boy, full flame on. That doesn't augur
You're
well
talking
for,
about Doha, what
yeah,
he said in
yeah,
Doha.
right, exactly. Uh, so this I I always say jokingly when they say, "Yeah, they put out the national security strategy." We go, "We got a strategy?" You know, I didn't think we could spell strategy. Um, so the core of the shift now is that it's going to be America first, and we're gonna control our hemisphere. This, what the real problem with this national security strategy is it's still sort of it is not so. It's still predicated on the assumptions about a world that's coming to an end, a world that no longer that won't exist in 4 or 5 years, and that world is a world where the United States is the dominant economic power, and we can dictate to everybody else what they need to do. Um, the the United States uh, leadership role is evaporating, and the most interesting facet of this is that Europe has really dominated history for the last 400 years. Uh, we've even though those we live in the West, and but really the major events of the last 400 years have been dictated by Europe, whether it's the colonization of Africa, subjugation of China and India by Britain, um, the various World War One, World War Two, these massive human conflagrations, human sacrifice on a massive scale. The power of the dollar, the rise of the dollar. Um, that's all. That's coming to an end. It is going to change. It's a change equivalent to a massive earthquake. It shakes everything. So, um, the national security strategy, in my view, it's a step in the right direction to recognize, yeah, that world's changing, but there's still denial. They still haven't fully accepted the fact that, you know what, our central position in the world is slipping away.
Yeah. I remember one of the main points, in the Biden administration, the national security strategy they published in those days, they were talking about autocracy and democracy. They are the autocracy, we are democracy, we have
Yeah,
to defeat them.
yeah.
Do you think that's still the hardcore, or is there still that the foundation of what's going on in the United States, the ideology? I see less ideology in the Trump administration, by the way, Larry. More, they understand how the world is changing in terms of the economy, the power, the production, energy, all of that. But we've seen that we haven't seen that much in the Biden administration. They were mostly focused on the ideology of the United States, which was the democracy and autocracy, and which pretty much is the same that is happening right now in the mind of Europeans today.
Well, what you had previously was the power of the neoconservatives, um, both carrying the idea that the United States could rule the world. We could set the terms, and the rest of the world is going to have to follow. Damn it! Coupled with an Israel-centric policy, and I mean, we're still seeing that with God. Germany, in particular, is just to me stunning. That Frederick Merz cozying up to Bibi Netanyahu. Um, but that again, it is a shift away with Trump. His claim to be America first, and again, it sounds great on the campaign trail, but how does that get translated into action? And the actions Trump has taken so far have actually been detrimental to America first. On the foreign policy front, he's subjugated um, America first to Israel first, and that has created a backlash in the United States. It's genuine with uh, growing opposition to that idea. Um, on the economic front, when he moved out to impose tariffs again, trying to uh, and I agree with his broader stated objective that you got to reshore the industrial base of the United States instead of allowing corporations, and not so much allowing corporations, but instead of this the system that we've put in place where corporations are incentivized to create returns for their shareholders, that they will take a manufacturing plant, say in Waterloo, Iowa, and they'll move it to Mexico. And when they do that, those Americans who were working at that factory now are unemployed. So I understand Trump wanting to bring it back to the United States so that we're not having to rely upon uh, China or Russia or Japan for steel production. That we're doing it ourselves, so that there's certain key technologies for industrial production that we keep here. Um, but Trump's tariffs approach is not producing that result necessarily, and in fact, it's exposing the weakness of the American economy and the limits of our influence now. I mean, I've mentioned this commercial from the 1970s, and it was an investment commercial. There was a company called E.F. Hutton, and they were like, trying to build themselves a business as, bring us your money and we'll help you invest it and you grow rich. Anyway, the commercial went like this. It'd be all these people talking, a big room full, everybody's talking, and they focus in on these two people having a conversation. it'd be either two men, two women, or a man and a woman. And one would say, well, E.F. Hutton says, and everybody'd stop talking and they'd go, huh? What? What did they? So that used to be the U.S. and how whenever we talked, everybody else would stop talking. They'd look, what are they saying? What are those Americans doing? Now, some countries are treating America like the crazy uncle that you invite for a holiday dinner. You know, it's just like, oh, there he is. We'll put him at another table. Just leave us alone. Um, India, China in particular, Russia, Iran, Vietnam, uh, all these countries now, even Brazil, they're looking to step outside of the U.S. net of control. They'd still like to have relationships with the United States, but they're tired of being bullied, and that's become the U.S. policy, bullying. And yeah, it's one thing to bully if you've got the actual control that people can't fight back, but U.S. is discovering that they can fight back. I mean, look at the rhetoric with respect to like India. Yeah, we're gonna hurt Russia. We're not gonna let India buy any more oil from Russia. We're gonna sanction you. What did India do? they're, they're still buying the oil. Didn't stop. China didn't stop, despite Western claims that they did. Just not true. So it's the end of American dominance. America is not going to go away, but it's going to have to adapt to a new role of, you know what? Maybe we ought to try to just get along with people instead of invading them. Like this, the current kabuki dance with Venezuela is, maybe sort of an epitaph for the American century. The end of the American hegemony will be demonstrated by what's our, we keep threatening Venezuela, but pretty problematic. And we got a precursor of that, sort of a shadowing of what was going to come with what happened in the Red Sea. I did. This goes off a little bit on a tangent, but I did a debate with Grok and with DeepSeek, and the Grok debate was really interesting, because about what happened in the Red Sea. Good God, you'd think you were talking to a neoconservative crazy person, and Grok.
I did.
Yeah. Oh no, no, the United States didn't lose. Oh boy, yeah, we really showed those Houthis. And I'd go back and say, wait. The Houthis shut down all maritime traffic to Israel, and it's still shut down, correct? Well, yeah, but and it's like, okay, because it all started when I was asking about the view of the Russian military. Oh, Russia's really not that strong because the United States has got 11 carriers. Oh, yeah. How did that power from an aircraft carrier prove to be in the Red Sea? Huh? Did we force the Houthis to their knees? No. Did we get the Red Sea back open? No. Were we scared to death that they were going to sink one of our carriers with one of the what were described as hypersonic missiles? Bet your ass they were terrified. So the entire model the United States has structured this defense capability predicated on an aircraft carrier that, frankly, that's like saying, yeah, we've got a mobile cavalry. Oh, you mean tanks? No, we got horses. Yeah, they don't hold up well against the machine gun. That's where we are. We're at a transitionary period. Sorry for the long rant.